Hey guys, this is Hector with King's Cards, and I wanted to bring to y'all a deck profile for an archetype that treated me really well after the 2023 NAWCQs. That is Exosisters, right here. This treated me really well around cash format whenever Unchained was around in the beginning of Rescue Ace. It is a shifter deck, so I thought it was a good point or time to bring it back now that Fire Kings and Snake Eyes are everywhere. With as well, it helps out that they move stuff in and out of their graveyard a lot. So let's get right to it. So to start off, we have the Exosister monsters. We play 3 Martha, which is really good going into the Fire King decks or the Snake Eyes deck going second, because if that goes through, they don't have the Asher and a way to interact with it. They don't really want a Princess afterwards, because that will just trigger Martha and then this card, which pairs with it, Elise. It'll just give you a free XC summon, basically off of them. We also play Stella, Sophia at 2 each, and 1 Irene. The reason we play all of them is because they mention each other on the names. Stella mentions Elise, Elise mentions Stella, and Martha just mentions Elise, but she doesn't have one that mentions her right now. Sophia and Irene mention each other, and that's really good for your cards like Pax, which we'll see here in a second, and Bodice, which we'll be able to summon both of them out of the deck straight. And they all have the archetypal effect where if a monster is moved out of the graveyard by your opponent, they can XC summon from the extra deck by just using themselves as material for a rank 4 Exosister monster. Martha is a little special because she can do that if your opponent moves something in and out of either graveyard, or if you move something in and out of either graveyard. So she'll trigger that way. You could use something like a Foolish Return or whatever, move your opponent's card out of the grave, and then it'll trigger Martha. She can also special summon herself out of the hand, and an Elise with her as well from the deck. So some more support cards that we play is Aratama at 3 and 2 Sakitama. Aratama on normal summon will search you a spirit monster from the deck, which is really good because this spirit, you just reveal it and normal summon a spirit from the hand, which helps you play around the lock that Martha gives you, which is that whenever you activate her effect, you can only special summon Exosister monsters for the turn, period. So you can't special summon anything else before or after. That's not an Exosister. So this is the true 1-card combo in this deck, because you'll just have a line where you get Aratama, grab Sakitama, rank 4, and then that grabs you Martha from the deck, and then you have another rank 4, which helps you out with the big boss monster of the deck. And then we'll start with the engine spells. We have 3 packs, grabs you any Exosister card from the deck, and if you grab a monster and you have her pair in the graveyard, you can special summon it too. So it's a really good way to, if you're in a simplified game state, I guess push for damage or push for game, be able to summon a Martha from the deck in another way without being locked. I also play Prosby to dig into engine or extenders, I guess. Also Small World. Since we do play Shifter, it helps us bridge into Aratama, and then Aratama bridges into any Exosister monster, so that's really good. There's also some hand traps that can help facilitate that even more, but right now the one bridge we have is the middle Aratama, and then starting off a Shifter or something else that goes with it. Then we have the engine traps. We have 2 Returnia and 1 Bodice. This is the one that special summons 2 Exosister monsters that mention each other in their card text from the deck, which is really good, especially if you know you're going first against, let's say, Snake Eyes Fire King. You can set this, and whenever they're about to go Kirin or Arvada, chain this, or something else, let's say Flamberge, chain this, and then it'll just summon the Exosister monsters and trigger both of them, so you have 2 interruptions right there, and you have ways from the extra deck to be able to stop those graveyard effects and summons. We also play Returnia. This is a target banish whenever you only control Exosister monsters, and depending on if you have Xyz summon this turn, you can have an extra non-target banish, or if you have 2 Exosister monsters, you could overlay those into another Xyz monster, which is very helpful because there is a couple of monsters that are very useful this format. Then we have, honestly, one of the best cards in the deck. This is free. He's not in jail yet, so you can play him, and we will. This is also a bridge if you don't have a way to play, but you have Small World. You go this into Aratama, into probably Martha to start off your game. But it's a really good card. Stops, let's say, Droll, Valor, and so does this one. If you're going first against anything, this will stop. This is Defission, and it'll stop Valor. It'll stop Droll. If you're going second, you can activate this whenever there's a Garunex engraved. If the Garunex comes out, it'll just banish the monsters that come out, or it tries to destroy it instead of just sending it or destroying it to grave. So that's pretty good to stop all the follow-up that Fire Kings have on your own turn. And more non-engine, we have Thrust. At 2, we have 2 talents and triple Imperm. This is just to help us play around hand traps and such, or help play through them. Thrust to search a bodice if we get hand trapped as well, or say we get nibbed and we're playing against something that loves to summon off the graveyard or move stuff in and out of the graveyard. We just activate Thrust, set bodice, and just play on their turn. And Imperm is just a pretty dang good card. So that's it for the main deck. And on to one of the best parts of this is the extra deck. We have Asphodel at 2. This is a really good card. It is a, I guess, spin back to the hand. Whenever she is summoned using Exosister monsters. And also, it shuts off graveyard effects the turn she is summoned using Exosister monsters. She is basically a dweller whenever she is summoned using Exosister monsters. So, like I was saying, using Bodice, or if you leave up 2 Exosister monsters and your opponent moves something in and out of grave, she can just main deck Exosister effect, overlay into this, and then shut off the graveyard effects, which is really good against this fire format we're in right now. We also have Gibrine. She shuts off, she's basically an Imperm whenever she's summoned using Exosisters as well. So that's why you play her at 1. A lot of things can dodge her right now, but it is good to have more options to go into out of the extra deck. Caspatel at 3. She is an important part of your 1-card combo using Aratama because you overlay into her first, and then using her effect, detach one card to go search Martha, helps you extend into your big boss monster. She is also shutting off summons from the summons from the graveyard. So this paired with Asphodel could be pretty nasty. And one of the best cards in the extra deck that we have right now is Michaelis. Whenever she's summoned with an Exosister monster, she has her effect to quick effect banish by targeting, and she can do that from graveyard or from your opponent's field. That can also trigger Martha if you happen to have one off of packs or something, and then that will give you 1 extra Xyz monster, and that you triggered yourself. She also searches a spell or trap, so you could go for packs if you want to continue your game and push, your turn and push for game. Or she could search the Returnia, which is usually what I go for, to have more interruptions on your opponent's turn. or you could also have search Vadis if you already have Returnia. And the big boss monster of the deck is this one, Magnifica. She is pretty crazy. She has 2 attacks each battle phase. She also has a non-target banish by quick effect, and also a quick effect tag out for whatever Xyz monster or for whatever material is attached to her. You make her using 2 rank 4 Exosister monsters. So you could detach it to or return it to the extra deck and then summon it back out on top of her. You can have one of that after, or you can do that one time after you have already used a quick effect banish. She is usually what the deck tries to push for, but we also try to keep cards in mind like Nibiru and Droll. So if those cards come out, then we can't really play into it, but we have ways to just still continue doing with a good turn. Then for more, I guess, non-engines, but still in the extra deck, we have Exciton Knight. Whenever your opponent has a big field and you don't have that much to start with, just summon this and pop basically every card except this one, I believe. We have Aguska as a plan B in case everything gets stopped. We just end on this, but we cannot summon either one of this or Zeus or Typhon the turn we activate Martha's effect. But these cards are pretty necessary because everything right now is doing multiple summons, it feels like, out of the extra deck. And Zeus is just good to wipe fields. So that's it for the extra deck. And we'll go to the side deck. This is something that I have been thinking about for a while, but I'm still debating through it. Bell, to be able to hit, let's say, Voiceless Voice whenever they go for Saphira, or they have their trap Radiance. You can use this to hit that and stop, interrupt them whenever they're trying to push their usual turns. But I'm thinking about switching this to the main deck. I don't know what I'll move out of it yet though, but it is another way to bridge into engine using Small World. Another card that is kind of spicy, I guess, for this deck is Foolish Return. I mentioned it earlier, but this one just targets a card in your opponent's graveyard and shuffles it into the deck. Yep. And it'll trigger your Martha. So that's really what we're trying to go for, is if we're interrupting our opponent, trigger Martha and have those free Xyz. Also play 3 Cosmic to be a board wipe for the Fire King Island. Hit that and then destroy your opponent's monsters. Will be pretty good. Triple Evenly and triple Solemn Judgment, since our deck does have issues with mass board wipes like Raigeki and Dark Hole. So we want to be able to protect our monsters since we don't really put out a negate. So that is the deck.
Okay. So when do you think we can see you play this deck? Maybe at the OTS Championship?
Yeah, I think that'll be a pretty safe bet. I've been debating it for a while, and I think it'll be a good time to bring it out. You know, with Fire Kings running, or Snake Eyes running around everywhere.
Okay. All right, well, Hector, we appreciate you, and we'll catch you all in the next video.
Thank you.